2 years after cheating on me, my ex texted, "I regret everything." Then she came to my door begging for another chance. But I'd already moved on, and that was the karma she never expected. I'm 38, and for 4 long years, I shared a small, humble apartment, monthly bills, and a gentle dog named Milo with a woman named Emily. I truly believed we were building something solid, something that would last beyond the small struggles of daily life. When she told me she needed space, it sounded harmless, even mature. But looking back now, those words echo in my mind like a warning I should have understood sooner. It all ended quietly, on a Tuesday evening I'll never forget. That night, she came home later than usual. Her eyes were red and swollen, her hands trembling as she tried to find the right words. When she finally spoke, my world shifted beneath my feet. She confessed that she had been with someone else, a man from her office named Ryan. She called it a mistake, as if that word could undo the damage it carried. I didn't yell, didn't break anything, didn't even cry. I just stood there listening as the life I thought I knew slowly fell apart right in front of me. We packed the essentials that same night. She left with a small duffel bag and a few apologies that felt far too light for the weight they carried. After the door closed behind her, the apartment felt too big, too quiet. Milo kept following me around, his eyes full of confusion, as if he could still smell her but didn't understand why she wasn't there. I tried to eat, but food tasted like memories. I tried to sleep, but my dreams were just fragments of what used to be. Every task became robotic, like my body moved without a heart behind it. Within a month, I couldn't bear the familiarity of that space any longer. I took a new job in another city, packed what was left of my life, and left. I blocked Emily on every app, deleted her number, and promised myself I would never let her back in. That promise became my shield, the sentence I repeated whenever the pain tried to sneak back in. Slowly, time did what time does. Work filled my days, friends checked in, and Milo adjusted. But nights were still the hardest. Old songs would sneak onto my playlists, and I'd sit perfectly still, listening until the last note faded, just so I could feel something without breaking apart. Still, I learned to breathe around the absence. And for a while, that was enough. Then, 2 weeks ago at midnight, my phone buzzed. The screen glowed in the dark room, and a single message stared back at me. "I regret cheating." No hello, no explanation. Just 4 words that opened a door I thought I'd locked forever. I didn't reply. I just set my phone face down and stared at the ceiling for hours. It's strange how memory works. How a single sentence can bring back scents, voices, and tiny moments you thought you'd forgotten. Her perfume, the chipped mug we shared, Milo's bark echoing in the hallway. All of it came back at once. The message felt like an invitation. But to what? Regret? Reconnection? I didn't know. The next morning, the words still sat in my mind like a stone in my shoe. Curiosity, that dangerous old friend, whispered to me. I finally opened the chat and typed, "Why now?" Her reply came an hour later. She said she realized what she'd lost, that the other man had left, that what she chased turned out to be empty. I read it twice, almost laughing to myself. People always sound like essays about redemption when they finally start to miss the things they destroyed. So, I wrote back something simple, something I'd wanted to say for years but never could. "You didn't ruin everything, just what we had." When I saw the word "read" appear beneath my message, I felt something shift. For the first time in years, I wasn't angry. I wasn't heartbroken. I was calm. The silence that followed felt like the most peaceful conversation we'd ever had. The next morning, another message arrived. Long, emotional, full of memories and regret. She wrote about missing the smell of coffee in our kitchen, about Milo's paws tapping on the floor, about nights we'd spent driving out of town just to watch the stars. Her words pulled me back for a moment. Not into love, but into the echo of what love once felt like. But nostalgia is a cruel illusion. It shows you the good parts and hides the pain that came with them. I remembered the real night she told me the truth. How she sat on the couch crying into her hands, saying it was a mistake. Like betrayal was an accident instead of a choice. So, I wrote back, "You didn't just cheat on me. You made me doubt myself. You broke something that doesn't rebuild with words." She saw it instantly but didn't respond right away. And that silence, that quiet pause, gave me more closure than any apology ever could. When she finally replied, she wrote, "You sound stronger now." And she was right. I was stronger. Not because I stopped caring, but because I finally understood that forgiveness isn't the same as reconnection. Sometimes, letting go is the real forgiveness. After that, I didn't block her again. I didn't reply either. I just let it end naturally. No drama, no explanation, just peace. Days passed, and her messages stopped. My life slowly found balance again. Work stayed steady. Milo barked less at night, and I started sleeping better. One evening, a friend from my old town called. We hadn't spoken in months, but I could hear the hesitation in his voice, the kind that comes before news you didn't ask for. He told me Ryan, the man Emily cheated with, got engaged last month. Emily didn't take it well. She quit her job, moved back to her parents, and went completely offline. My friend waited for my reaction, maybe expecting pity, maybe satisfaction. But all I said was, "I hope she finds her way," and I meant it. That night, I sat outside with a beer in hand, watching Milo doze off beside me. 2 years ago, I would have called it karma. But now it didn't feel like karma. It just felt like life. Unforgiving, honest, and uninterested in keeping score. When Emily said, "I regret cheating," what she really meant was, I regret losing someone who never would have done that to me. But that version of me, the one who waited, forgave, and tried to fix what someone else broke, didn't exist anymore. My silence wasn't cruelty. It was closure. The kind that arrives quietly, without announcement, when you finally stop rehearsing the conversations you'll never have. Weeks passed. Peace took root in my days like something finally growing after a long winter. Around that time, I met someone new, Rachel. We met through a mutual friend at a dinner party. She was calm, grounded, and real. No games, no mind tricks, just honesty. We took things slow, coffee dates, evening walks, easy conversations. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was trying to fill a void. I just felt present. Then one Saturday morning, there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and there she was, Emily, 2 years older, eyes tired, shoulders heavy, holding a paper coffee cup like it was keeping her together. "Hey," she said softly. "I was in town. I just wanted to see you." I didn't invite her in immediately. I just looked at her, the woman who once broke my heart standing in the doorway of the life I rebuilt without her. Eventually, I said, "You've got 5 minutes." She walked in, looking around the apartment like she was walking through a memory. "You've done well," she said quietly. "It looks peaceful." "Yeah," I replied. "It is." She took a deep breath. "I know I don't deserve it, but I needed to say this face to face. I was stupid, Daniel. I thought what we had was replaceable. I thought I could find better. But I just found empty things that felt good for a moment and hurt forever." Her honesty stung. Not because I wanted her back, but because I finally saw she understood the weight of what she'd done. She looked up, eyes glossy. "You don't hate me anymore, do you?" "No," I said. "I don't have space for that anymore." That caught her off guard. She smiled faintly, then whispered, "Maybe we could start again?" But the door she'd walked out of 2 years ago had never truly reopened. I looked at her and said calmly, "I'm not angry, but I'm not available either." Her eyes dropped. "Because of her?" she asked. I didn't answer. She looked down, fingers trembling around the coffee cup. "I can't believe I lost you to someone else." "You didn't lose me to someone else," I said. "You lost me to the person I became after you broke me." She looked at me, tears welling up, then nodded. "You really changed." "Yeah," I said softly. "That's what pain does." After a moment, she whispered, "I'm sorry, Daniel, not just for cheating, but for making you believe you weren't enough. You were always enough. I just wasn't ready to see it." She left quietly after that. No drama, no slammed door, just silence, the kind that feels final. A few weeks later, I heard she'd moved across the country to live with her sister. I didn't reply to the message. I didn't need to. I sat outside that night, Milo's head on my foot, watching the stars. And for the first time, I wasn't sad. I was grateful. Grateful that the version of me who once begged for answers finally learned to stop searching. Grateful that her betrayal taught me the kind of peace that doesn't depend on anyone else. Because in the end, real closure isn't a conversation. It's a quiet realization that you've stopped needing one. When my phone buzzed one last time with her final message, "I just hope you're happy," I simply typed back, "I am. And I hope someday you will be too." Then I deleted the chat. It wasn't anger. It was acceptance. The story was over. I looked down at Milo, his head resting against my leg, and whispered, "We're okay now." And for the first time in years, I truly meant it. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's healing. Hit that subscribe button if you believe peace is the real closure.